so excited to have today two of my favorite MCC people, Kylie Ritter, who is an MCC Writing Center consultant and works just behind the glass wall there, and also Wes Jacobs, who has been probably my very most favorite student since I've worked here. So without further ado, I'm turning them over to in honor of horror.
Okay, so like Katie said, thank you for coming, everybody. Wes and I are really excited to get to geek out about horror movies for a little while for you guys.
Ready to get your scare on?
It's an appropriately blustery day, so I love that the weather is festive as well. So thank you to Katie for inviting Wes and I to do this. It's a subject that we're both passionate about, and so I think it's going to be a lot of fun for us to share this with you guys. Thank you to Sonia and Lisa and Ray Rand and all of the fabulous library ladies, and Ray from the tech department who just saved us. They've all done a lot of really good behind the scenes work and helping us get ready for this and setting up all the treats and making all the cool handouts for you guys. So big thanks to them. And thank you to Wes for being willing to collaborate with this on me and doing a lot of hard work.
Actually, I kind of enjoy it a lot.
Good. We had some fun kind of jam sessions just talking about different horror movies that we like, and Wes impressed me with his vast knowledge of like horror movie facts, and so he's going to be sharing a lot of that today. I was playing some horror movie scores while you guys were coming in, and Wes was just standing over here, not only identifying correctly the film, but the exact scene that the music is during the scene. So he's kind of an expert. So for those of you who don't know me, like Katie said, my name's Kylie. I work over there in the Writing Center, helping support our MCC students. And in addition to that, I am obsessed with everything spooky. So I was really excited when Katie asked Wes and I to do this, and I am going to hand it over to Wes now and let him tell you guys a little bit about himself.
I'm Wes Jacobs, and I'm currently a student here, and I'm going through computer aided design and design mechanical parts. And my first experience of Halloween, like in movies, like when I was a teenager, I had this crazy dream. It was blinded by the world, but it was real to me. And it started out at my street of my church, and this house, this condemned house, just it's blind by the village, but it was weird to me, like the It movie, pretty much. Like it was just visible to the younger generation, but it's blinded by the older generation, and that really got me started going into liking horror movies.
Okay, so for me, I have literally been a horror movie fan for as long as I can remember. My older cousin was watching A Nightmare on Elm Street, the original 1984 version, at our grandma's house, and I just kind of wandered in, and I was like, huh. And I wasn't really scared. I just kind of kept watching it, and it was creepy, and it was different. And from that on, I was hooked, and I was 4 years old at the time. So literally, I have been watching scary movies for as long as I can remember. Further proof of my childhood obsession is this is an actual journal entry from when I was 7 years old. I realize I'm an ambassador of the Writing Center, and this is not a great look for me, but I can assure you that my writing skills are vastly improved. But I believe what I was trying to say is I watched Freddy Krueger. It is scary, but I watch it, I think. So that's apparently Freddy. This is where I tried to draw Freddy and decided that no, but I think that sense is actually better. And then that's me. Anyway. So growing up, my parents were very supportive of my horror addiction, and they used to take my brother and I Showtime Video in Stanton and let us rent tape. And I was always just beelining it right for the horror section. I love to go and like look at all the weird, crazy like VHS box cover art. And I just love to watch scary movies, which is kind of funny because I was actually a pretty timid kid in most other respects. I don't really remember being scared by these movies. Maybe it was just because I was being kind of brave on my own terms, I guess. I don't know. I was more afraid of like photographers and being away from my mother for 30 seconds. And as an adult, I'm really more scared by things like public speaking than horror movies. So I don't really remember being scared by any of these movies, more just kind of fun scared. But the first movie that I genuinely remember scaring the absolute crap out of me, I had to beg my mom to let me watch this one. Usually they were content to let me kind of govern myself with what I was watching. I didn't get scared or have nightmares or go scare other children with the stuff I was watching. So they're like, she's got a good head on her shoulders, she's fine. But then I asked to see this one particular film, and I finally nagged my mom, and she's like, okay, I'll rent it for you, but you're not sleeping in my room after you watch it. That I did. I slept on the floor in my parents' room for 2 weeks after I saw this movie. To be fair, I was only 11 at the time, but I would be lying if I said that I don't still low-key want to sleep in my parents' room every time I watch this movie to this day. Would anyone like to take a stab at what movie that might have been?
What year was it?
What year did I watch it?
Yeah.
This would have been 1998.
I'm guessing The Exorcist.
When did the movie come out?
When did the movie come out?
Yeah.
I cannot tell you that. I know, but it's just too big of a clue.
Well, I mean,
No other guess?
there's so many things to go.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys right now. No, I'm kidding. It was The Exorcist. This one, I know it's a divisive film, but 11 years old just absolutely scared the absolute crap out of me. So you can see why my mom was like, no, you cannot watch this. And finally she's like, okay, do your thing. So beyond watching scary movies, I have always loved everything horror. I loved the scary stories to tell in the dark books as I was growing up. I checked those out from the library all the time, often from Katie herself, I think. I grew up reading Stephen King. I think I started reading Stephen King in like middle school. Horror is still my favorite genre of book to read. I love urban legends. I love creepypasta. I love horror podcasts. Just all year round, I'm just constantly finding all of the horror I can. And in addition, I've always loved Halloween. I love dressing up and making my own costumes. I put a few pictures of some of my costumes here. Every year for Halloween, my grandma, who is in the audience here,
Hi, Grandma.
she and I dress up together and pass out candy to the trick-or-treaters. This picture right here is a couple years ago when we dressed up as each other. And I honestly think she's pulling me off better than I do. I love haunted house attractions. I grow my own tiny little pumpkin patch every year. Just all about horror, Halloween all the time. I also had the opportunity to attend several horror conventions over the years. Horror conventions, you have to enunciate that very or people will think you are going to a very different kind of convention. So I used to go to these, they're really popular now, they're usually very packed and quite expensive, so I don't really get to them as much anymore, but through the years of going, I've gotten to meet and interact with some of my favorite horror icons, including Freddy Krueger himself. And I love this picture so much that I sent it out as my Christmas card. And some of my family members actually contacted me and were like, that's so nice, you finally got a boyfriend. And I did not correct that. So, disclaimer and support resources, not to like kill the vibe or anything, but horror movies often have a lot of really upsetting content. I don't know why he keeps doing that. There's some kind of intervention, I think. Yeah. They contain graphic violence, terror, gore, nudity, strong language, upsetting imagery. you guys got, there's a QR code that you can scan, and it's got a list of resources for like self-harm, suicidal, homicidal ideation, domestic violence, any kind of crisis situation. So that is there for you guys or anyone you know who might need it. I talk about some places you can look for trigger warnings before you watch any of these movies. This is basically just me saying like, don't say I didn't warn you. Wes and I are just gonna kind of go back and forth here now. He's gonna share some horror movie facts with you guys and do some trivia. I'm gonna talk about some of the movies that I highlighted on the bookmarks that Raylene made for you guys that list Wes and I's favorite movies. I'm not gonna talk too much about each of them because I wanna keep it short and I don't wanna give too much away. But I'm gonna go ahead and let Wes start off talking about, I think the first one is Halloween. Nope, just kidding. There we go.
Halloween was a movie created in 1978, and it scared 25 million people across the nation of the United States. And it's only it's amazing because it only took 3 weeks pretty much to produce it. Like, it's ridiculous. They had to pick every leaf off the tree and spray paint it. And this is like during the summer. Like, this is during the summer. They had to spray paint it, and they had to use the same leaves over time, like for a different season. And I think that's pretty much that.
And this one smashed box office records for a horror film, right?
Yeah.
It was kind of like the first big
Yeah.
successful
He's
one.
the scariest killer, and
You know-
I like Rob Zombie's version.
You know what's funny? The shortest Michael Myers ever was played was the Halloween 2. It was
Okay.
like the shortest. Yeah, pretty much.
I met one of the Michael Myers at one of the Halloween stuff I went to, yeah.
All right, Wes, you ready for the first trivia question? You guys can win a prize if you know the answer.
What is Leatherface's weapon of choice?
He's,
Chainsaw.
Yeah.
You wanna take him a prize?
Are we supposed to blurt it out?
Yeah. Raise your hand.
Okay.
Well, you
Raise our hands.
I'll make my former kindergarten teacher grandma come up here and
Oh,
raise
gosh.
your hand. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back a couple because I messed up my PowerPoint. But, so the first movie I'm gonna talk about is Jacob's Ladder. Has anybody seen this one before? Okay. So this movie, is kind of as devastating as it is terrifying. It's about Jacob, who is a Vietnam veteran. He comes home to a fractured family, a bleak apartment, and a job as a mail carrier. And when he starts experiencing terrifying hallucinations and suspecting someone or something is following him, he finds himself fleeing a madness that he cannot comprehend. And this movie is not just one of my favorite horror movies, it's one of my favorite movies in general. So I knew that I had to include it on my list. Next, I'm gonna chat about Event Horizon. Anyone seen this one? Okay. I like to call this movie Hellraiser in space. It's about a team of astronauts who are on a rescue mission to recover another spaceship that vanished 7 years earlier, and unfortunately, they find it. This one is part action, part sci-fi, part wince-inducing body horror, fun for the whole family.
Not
And then not. That's not actually fun for the whole family. Use your discretion, please. All right, we're gonna throw it back to you, Wes. Not with that one, though. Oh my gosh, I totally screwed this up. All right, go ahead.
The Shining was an amazing movie. Like, we all, like, whoever seen this, like, okay. Whether, like, you know, the maze, the hedge maze, pretty much on the premises. Actually, that hedge maze was captured from a helicopter. Was in motion flying. What do you call it?
Like hovering?
Hovering,
Yeah.
pretty much. It was hovering, and that's how they actually captured that. Johnny.
Our next trivia question, if you were listening closely, I think Wes gave you maybe a hint. Oh, wow.
Stanley Hotel?
Yeah.
No, in The Shining.
Main Hotel?
The Overlook.
Yeah.
Overlook.
Right.
You most got it.
Yeah. Okay, yep.
I should not have said the name of it.
I'm totally spoiling all of my slides.
You are.
But anyway, next movie I'm gonna talk about is a movie
This is
called
so
Trick
good.
or Treat. Has anyone seen this
I
one?
love this movie.
Okay, cool. So this is probably the one that I would recommend most, just across the board of all the movies that we're gonna talk about. I feel like this one is kind of like dumping out your bag of candy after a night of trick-or-treating on a chilly Halloween night. It's fun, it's festive, it's spooky, there's a little something for everyone. I consider this one to be like kind of a modern classic. It's not necessarily my favorite of all the movies that I'm talking about, but it's just a lot of fun. So, next one, Frozen. Not that Frozen. Not that Frozen. I'm always hesitant to list Frozen as one of my favorite movies because people get the wrong idea. This one also takes place in the cold, but it's about a trio of friends who find themselves stranded on a chairlift 30 feet in the air at night, and it's cold, like really cold, and the ski resort is closing until the following weekend. So this is one of those movies where it's kind of fun to ask yourself, how would I cope with that situation? And for me, there's also something special about cold weather horror movies. I don't know if it's just the insular quiet, the added threat of the elements, the contrast of hot red blood on white snow. I also love survival horror. Like, a movie doesn't need demons or a guy with a knife to be scary. You can stick someone in a canyon with a compound fracture and no water and let's see what happens. And I'm all about it. Like, have you guys ever seen that movie 127 Hours? Terrified.
Yeah, he had to cut his leg off. What was the arm
That's
and
such a
the leg?
huge spoiler, Wes. But yeah. Okay, so skipping past that, here we go.
Sorry about
Okay, Annabelle. Take it away.
Annabelle is a real doll, actually, not the movie, the doll in the movie, but the original doll is an Raggedy Ann doll, pretty much. Like, it was possessed by this one girl named Annabelle Higgins, and she died in an accident, but I think she died in a vehicle accident, and she got run over, like, and she was a troubled spirit, and she mainly spirits were kind of lonely inside, but there's a group of 3 medical students, and they actually took her in. And, like, don't ask me why they did it. They actually allowed the spirit to come into Dow, and later on down the road, there were witnesses, furniture moving, the Dow was actually moving, and there were notes around laid on the ground, on the floor, with notes like, help me, pretty much, and the crazy about it, they had no paper like that there in the house, on the house, inside the house. No paper. She was right, and they didn't have it outside.
Do you think that the movie would have been as scary if they would have used a Raggedy Ann doll?
I think there'd be a lot of killings.
All right, so our next horror trivia question. Go ahead, Wes.
Oh, poetry. What is the villain that is afraid of dying in the water?
I'm calling someone.
Yeah, you.
Please, Jason.
Yep.
Okay, so, this movie, Creep, right? Like, you know it's not gonna end well, but, it's uncomfortable, uncomplicated, unsettling, kind of perversely funny, and, creepy. So, this one is one of my all-time favorites. As above, so below. Anyone seen that one? A few people? Okay, so I am horribly claustrophobic. The idea of being trapped anywhere, especially underground, makes me sick. Again, 127 hours. I'm not trying to be stuck anywhere, especially if my oxygen becomes finite. But being stuck in underground in caverns that are literally made out of dead people, and then weird stuff starts happening. No. There's not enough movies being made about getting lost in the Paris catacombs. Seriously, it's terrifying. You're in an underground labyrinth made of dead people's bones. What could be scarier than that? Watch this one to find out. This one has some seriously creepy imagery, and kind of a building sense of dread. I saw this one in the theater, and I just remember saying, nope, several times. So, this one is fun. All right, here you go, Wes. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Fun Night on Elm Street, like, actually,
Are you gonna sing the rhyme for us?
yeah.
Okay.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5 said grab your crucifix. 7, ain't gonna stay up all night. Late, I mean,
Either way.
9, 10, never sleep again. Yeah. Kind of creepy little photograph, but you don't see Freddy there.
We got plenty of Freddy coming. So our next trivia question.
Who's the man who portrayed Freddy, the character of Freddy?
Robert England?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so happy for like
England?
Yeah, I'm always getting that mixed up with England and.
Yeah, my dyslexia, I want to say England.
Yeah.
I think maybe my slides are caught up now. Yeah, okay. So, his house. This is a newer one. Everyone seen this one? Yeah. I just rewatched it last night, and I'm like, yes, this is a good recommendation. So this one has a lot of themes about war, xenophobia, regret. It's about a couple who are fleeing South Sudan in an attempt to start over in England, but they are met with hardship, rejection, and something sinister within the walls of their new home. I just really liked this one because it's kind of a refreshing take on like the classic haunted house story. And it really grapples with some real life horrors as well. So definitely recommend this one.
Is that on a streaming platform?
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I never watched that.
And this is gonna be the last movie from the bookmark that I kind of highlight for you guys. It's called The Night House, another movie with house in the title. Yes, another haunted house movie. Yes. Would I be telling you about it if I didn't think it has a great plot and gave me the PGs? No. This one is about a recent widow uncovering some disturbing secrets about her late husband. Again, I don't need gore. Sometimes gore is fun, but I don't need gore. I don't need shock. I love a good slow burn. Sometimes I don't want to be startled. I want to be scared. I want something that's gonna like stick with me after the movie. Not stick with me in like a Captain Howdy kind of way. But more like, wow, that is an absolutely chilling concept. And this movie really did that for me. Don't get me wrong, jump scares can be a lot of fun, especially if you're seeing a scary movie in the theater. I think some of the best scary movies Yeah, there's probably extras somewhere, but, yeah, so thank you if that's something that you're interested in supporting me with. And, I'm gonna turn it back over to Wes now. So, here we go.
Child's Play was based on a dog named called Robert, and his family actually had this widow, not a widow, like she was a servant, I mean, like she was taking care of the family, but doing the duties around the house and pretty much, and somehow she didn't get proper treatment when she was having the duties pretty much, and she just got tired of that, and she possessed a dog named called Robert, like this, the child was named Robert, but yeah. And originally, like, the dog was walking around like Annabelle Higgins, like,
We love a good creepy doll movie.
yeah.
Have you seen Megan?
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
That's what I'm gonna be for Halloween.
Yeah.
You'll notice that this specifically is Child's Play 2. Wes and I share the same favorite Child's Play movie in the franchise. Both really
Because
like.
he actually, when he was burned to death in the first movie, when he came back, it's like a new age, like, you know, like White Zombie, when he says, like, he wants to be more human than human, reborn, pretty much. This is like reborn of Chucky, pretty much, when he got toasted by a fire. Like the guy who got toasted, pretty much, it was, believe this or not, it was a little people did that scene. It was a little guy did that, and he was caught on fire, pretty much, from the fire they portrayed.
All right, you're gonna give us your Chucky impression?
Hey, I'm Chucky, you wanna play?
Well done. All right, last trivia question. Of course, it's Child's Play themed. I know.
What is the Child's franchise? In the Child's Play franchise, what brand of Chucky doll was he?
Sorry?
Good guy doll. Good guy doll, that's what it was. Yes.
As kind of our finale here, Wes himself has actually starred in a movie with Chucky.
And thanks to Seth for the guidance, pretty much. All you,
It's called Chucky Goes to College. Is there anything else you want to say about it before we show everybody?
Chucky goes to college.
yeah.
MCC?
Ready to roll it?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, here comes, he does come to MCC.
There we go.
not sure when it's gonna